Shalom and welcome to the sort of generic troubleshooting guide for ProPresenter. Our most common issue that we typically have with ProPresenter is things not being sent to live stream, and that typically occurs when ProPresenter gets restarted and the ATEM rack is already on in live stream. The first thing that you really do want to check, though, before you assume it's live stream's problem, is you just want to make sure that your actions are set. So, for example, we're going to pastor's sermon here, and we want to check that live stream is getting something. So as an example, we'll click this slide here. You know, if there was to be nothing here when we click this, we know, hey, the action isn't sent, or the action isn't set. Typically, it is an ATEM issue in live stream, but you always want to make sure that you do your due diligence before you start pointing fingers. You know, you always want to be gracious with people and say, hey, I have the action set. Maybe we can try restarting the ATEM and see if that fixes it. That 90% of the time is the fix, but you always want to make sure that the correct stuff is done on the software side before you start blaming any hardware. The next common thing is that ProPresenter is oftentimes just sluggish. The booth screen is lagging, and that is most honestly resolved with restarting the ProPresenter and restarting the computer. That is as simple as just quitting ProPresenter and going to this window key and pushing restart. Now when this boots back up, you do want to make sure that Dante Virtual Sound Card is running and that ProPresenter is launched. Those are the two main big things. The last thing to diagnose is just audio issues. These can be pretty tricky depending on the circumstance. Dante Virtual Sound Card, again, always needs to be running in order to get audio from ProPresenter to front of house. If it is running, you just want to make sure that the correct network card is selected, and it's always going to be Ethernet 2. Other than that, you can verify settings inside ProPresenter. So if we go up here and click ProPresenter, go to Settings, and click Audio, we can just make sure that audio is being sent to the virtual sound card and that nothing is muted. The level isn't pulled anywhere. It's always at 0 dB. The rest of it is either going to be a networking issue or a patching issue, which the sound engineer can help with. If you recall back to the hardware video of ProPresenter, the NDI decoder that is mounted to the back of the booth screen, there is a blue cable attached to the back of that, and that can be restarted either by pulling that cable or opening this UI here and going to System. The password is always this one right here. And you can click Reboot, and that will reboot the decoder and will reboot it. Sometimes ProPresenter is a little sluggish, and it's usually the computer to blame, not the decoder, but restarting it also doesn't hurt when you restart the ProPresenter machine as well. That's going to wrap it up. We just went through the most common issues, being that live stream isn't getting anything. You want to make sure that your actions are always in there and verify through this little monitor window here that it is, in fact, sending things. This is most commonly resolved by restarting the rack. And we went through troubleshooting some possible audio issues.